Greetings. Welcome along to another edition of Inspire and Be Inspired. Today we're broadcasting on our own channel, and I want to thank you for being here. Thank you for liking the page. Thank you for liking the broadcast. As it does say in the description, we are trying our very best to get as much visibility as possible. So any likes or shares of the stream would be really, really appreciated. Again, thanks for being here. I'm just going to share this myself while we wait for one or two people to join us. So if you bear with me, I can go onto my own Facebook wall. I can see that we're live, and I'm just going to share this myself if I am able to while I do this. So I want to share as myself. And then I just want to share it publicly. There you go. I'll head back on over to the live broadcast, and I can see that we have a few people with us already and already watching. So thank you for being here. I cannot see the comments, and I want to be able to see the comments. So let me see how I can view that. Yes, now I can actually see the comments. That's wonderful. Turn that down because I don't want that on. Right, if you guys want to leave me a comment inside, just to let me know that you're here and we can say hello to you. And everything is working great. You can be, Michelle saying it seems a little bit quiet. It all looks okay this side. Let me see if I can turn it up a little bit. That should be okay. But if you turn up your device as well, if I turn it up any louder, then it may distort. So I think we should be okay. All working. We're going to get to it. Hi Jodie. Hi to Adele in Liverpool. Thank you for being here, and thank you for sharing the post earlier in the week. I saw that you did actually do that. Hello to Tanya as well. Shouts out to John. The two Rogers there. How you going, guys? I believe and I understand that you're hoping to get something from today's conversation. Also as well, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people watching after the event, after we are live. And so welcome along to the recording. We're broadcasting on Saturday afternoon. It's the 20th of March, and it is currently just after 3 o'clock in the UK. I'm in Spain, for anyone that may not be aware, and it's just after 4 o'clock. Andy Tomo giving me the information that it's better now that I'm closer to the microphone. Thank you very much. I don't have my headphones. I've got little earbuds in, and I don't have them up very loud, so I wasn't aware of that. It looks like we're rocking and rolling. Very, very quickly, let me tell you about what's going on, as if you needed any reminder, any introduction. This is a regular conversation I'm going to be having on Facebook. Because there's no music involved, it means that we're not going to be cut off for copyright infringement, and it allows us to get into your faces. It allows us to be with you while you continue about your day, doing what you're doing. And each week I'm going to be bringing up various topics, whether it's to do with your personal well-being, your health, finances, promoting yourself and your brand. What I'm hoping to achieve is get regular people and normal people talking about not so regular things, and people who have achieved greatness and who will be able to inspire you as well. And this is the third conversation I think I'm having, and today I thought I would share a topic with you that I am familiar with myself, and I know most of us are familiar with. We're going to be talking about grief and all of the emotions that encompasses. And joining me live is a young lady that I've known for, off the top of my head, 25, 26 years. A lot of people watching this are going to be more than familiar with the lovely young lady by the name of Lucy Cole. And she's going to tell you about her journey, how she got to where she is today, and how she feels she can help you. Let me just stop rambling on, and let's get to our guest. Hello, Lucy. How are you?
Hello, Andy. Hi.
No, I'm just, as I was explaining to you before, I was testing out these graphics. If you're watching on your phone, if you're watching on your computer, then you can read the comments all down the side. This is to everyone watching live. You might want to tilt your phone on the side if you're only watching on your phone, and that'll give you a little bit of a bigger screen. But it's just Lucy and I talking face to face. And I've also got the comments scrolling up underneath the window so I can read them at the same time and reference any conversations, any questions that were asked. So, Lucy, thank you for taking your time to be here with me.
Thanks for asking me.
You're more than welcome. I started off, actually, you won't be aware, I've put a little poll for everyone that's watching live. And the question is, what is the stronger emotion associated with your own grief? And I've only given them two options to choose from, regret or sadness. And we'll discuss that a little bit later on. And what I will be able to do is share the results. I'm just reading one of the comments. Louise says she's in the bath. So that's a nice a nice
Nice chilled.
a nice thought to have whilst listening to this.
At least she's relaxed anyway. That's the main thing.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So tell us then. So I'm doing the same thing as I always do. I need to look at you here, even though I should be looking at you through this camera.
Don't worry.
Yeah. You know
Do what you need to do.
You know what I can actually do, because now I've gone live. I know what I can do to make this better.
There's always a solution to every problem.
There you go. Hold on.
Yay.
That's better. So now I can actually look you in the eyes while I'm addressing you,
Wow.
and then if I need to, I can go over. Oh, what's gone on here now? What have I done? If I need to, I can always go back to the screen to look at technology. It's amazing, isn't it? Got about 3 pairs of hands. Okay, Lucy. So the floor is yours. Tell us your story. Tell us
Yeah.
everything
Well,
about you and how you got to this
anybody
point.
who's on my Facebook, probably has followed my journey really, because you know that I'm quite a open person and I like to reach out. But yeah, it all started about 2015 really. My mum, who had cancer for 20 years, unfortunately, they gave her that news that she got a few months to live. So that happened in February. Then it sort of continued. My brother-in-law at the time, he got given 3 months to live. So that was just a journey of watching them both suffer and struggle. And then, unfortunately, my marriage broke down later on in that year. And then my mum passed away. My step-brother passed away in the August, my mum in the October. My marriage broke down in the October. And then my dad died in the November. So literally within a few months, I literally had so many traumatic events happen to me. From going to having everything, a home, a beautiful home, a marriage, parents, healthy parents, to literally losing everything within a few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
My stability, my family, my environment just gone. So I had a lot of pain, a lot of overwhelming pain and changes and grief in a short space of time.
And that was 2016.
2015.
Wow. Even 2015, it feels like it was much more recent than that to me. It's
I lost my biological father last year, but that was the sort of start of everything, just for me, just falling apart.
Okay.
The life I built up, which I thought was my forever life. Obviously I know your parents died, but that was my forever life, my life with my husband, my home. It just all fell apart. And to lose my parents at the same time as my divorce breaking down, I can't even put into words how hard that was, because I didn't even have my mum to turn to. Do you know what I mean? It was like I'd lost my husband, I'd lost my mum and my dad within a few weeks of each other. So really, that was my start of my real journey of grief. And and I never ever thought I'd ever experience that pain in my life. I always was quite, had quite a great upbringing, great friends, and and then all of a sudden I'm in this world of just grief and pain and heartache, and it was hard every day. It was a roller coaster.
Can I I want to let you do most of the talking today, but I want to tell you a little bit about my own personal grief.
Yes, please.
Because I think grief is something that and it's a real cliche, that phrase, oh, if you know, you know. But and because I get to the point what I'm trying to say, I know a lot of people who have lost loved ones close to them. As you know, Michelle also
Yeah.
lost her mum and dad, and I always thought I was there supportive for her. But it isn't until you experience it yourself that you truly understand it.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Absolutely. I mean, I've got an amazing circle of friends and people that support me, but I know it's hard for them to relate, the people that haven't lost, because until you feel it, you can't understand it. You can try, you can support someone, can't you, as much as you can, but until you felt that pain, you just don't. No one understands, do they? And you know what? I don't wish it on anybody, but it's very, very overwhelming. And I think for me, because it was all together at once, so it was one thing after another, and I'm trying to process it all, and really it's impossible to process that much pain at once. So
And it's
that was
also different for each individual as well, isn't
of
it?
course it is. Everyone deals with grief differently. Some people completely shut down and block it out. Do you know what I mean? And just try and just stay strong and get on with it. They don't talk. They don't reach out. I usually find people like that end up crashing after a few years, because there's only so much emotion you can hold in. I'm the type of person who reaches out and talks. That's why I've gone into coaching, really, because I can relate and talk to people. But yeah, that journey of grief is it's been a roller coaster. That's how I explain grief anyway. It is a roller coaster of emotions, isn't it? You can one week you can feel okay, you're okay. The next week you can just crash. You could hear a song, or you can smell something, or a memory pops up, and then it just knocks you back. I don't know if you've experienced that, Andy.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah,
So when I had a conversation with Michelle, and I actually felt guilty years after the fact of not feeling that I really understood Michelle's grief and the upset when she lost her parents. Again, just repeating what I said, I thought I was supportive and I thought I was there for her. But then when I understood what she must have been going through, it was like, wow, I don't think I understood, and I was there enough for you.
But you know what, Andy? You was there. You was a husband. You was a husband, and you was there. I wish I'd had that.
Yeah.
You was there, and that is all someone needs at that time. They don't need you to fully understand. They just want a hug, or they want you to do dinner, or just go and get a bit of shopping. Just little things like that. Because for me, I was on my own then, with my kids on my own as a single mom, after having losing all that, and I'm trying to hold it all together on my own.
So how old were the girls then?
So Sienna was 11, and Eva was just coming up to us at nearly 6.
So you had all that to deal with on top of everything else.
Had the kids to deal with, so they lost their grandparents, which they adored. And also, obviously, I left the marital home. Me and their dad split up, so they had all that upheaval as well. So I'm not going to lie, it's been hard for them. At times, it's really not them. But I'm really proud of the way they've come through it. In fact, you know what? I think it's got them into being who they are today, because they, to them, it's like, I can deal with that one, I can deal with anything.
Well, all credit to you for being the bedrock for them. And we're going to talk about the kids a little bit later on as well, because I know that will lead into something else that we're going to discuss.
Yes.
I just want to quickly address my attention to people who are watching live, and again here on the recording. The chat is moving and there's a lot of comments there. I am obviously listening to everything that you're saying, but I will every now and again. My attention is going to get averted to what people are reading, and then we'll have the opportunity to answer some questions a little bit later on. So bear with us, guys, everybody watching, and thank you again for being here. Okay, then, Lou. So grief. When again, bringing it very briefly back to myself. I had one or two people message me when I lost my dad. He passed away very suddenly in his sleep. He hadn't been ill, so it was a big shock. I was already over here in Spain, and someone, embarrassingly, I don't remember exactly who it was, but they reached out and they were saying, Andy, I had the same thing happen to me, and you're gonna go through all of these emotions, so please be prepared for it. There's nothing you can do to stop it, and once you understand that that's what you're going to go through, it will help you in some way deal with it if you're expecting it. And then down the years, I've been able to impart that same message onto many of my close friends who have lost their loved ones. But you have since, because of everything you've been through, you've gone down that road of discovery, and you are now taking on the responsibility of helping others. So the floor is yours. Tell us exactly about how you do it all, and why you are in a position to help.
So basically, I just decided I wanted to pass all my knowledge and experience onto other people. And I never thought I'd ever be in that dark place ever, and I've been in some really dark places at times. I want to try and help them people come out of that dark place and know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. When you're feeling that immense pain, I want to try and help people out, coach them, get them to start living their life again and loving life again. So I started, I done a health and life coaching diploma last year. And then I'm currently on like a 12-month coaching course, which includes like NLP and NLP practitioner and hypnosis. So now I'm a qualified coach, and although I deal in like personal development, health and addictions, and relationships and stuff, my main specialist is going to be grief. So I'm just putting together a program now, actually, which will be a 12-week program where it's grief recovery. So you're literally taking someone from the pits of crisis where they're struggling to even probably get out of bed, to bring them out of that and slowly get them through, coach them through to, learning to live a new life without that person, learning to know that you can be happy again and don't feel guilty about it, and some clarity and to move forward again and live your life again. Because I know that I've personally struggled. I went through a point where some days I couldn't get out of bed. I was in that much pain. So people just need that guidance and direction. And that's what I'm going to be doing in my coaching. I've set up the support group, the Love Life Again support group. So that's something I wish I'd had when I was struggling. I tend to have put a lot out on my personal Facebook, which is fun, which it inspired people and stuff. And I used to get great comments, which used to really help me and lift me. And but this is something for people who struggle to do that. So people who don't really like reaching out, or don't look like they're looking for attention. Some people think this group is for people who've all going through the same thing.
Okay, so that group, the link is actually the link to that group is in the description of this live video. So if anybody isn't part of that group, if they click onto it, it's in bolded out. If you just click that, it'll take you across to the page. And how long has that been running? Because you're over 500 members now, right?
Yeah, only since mid-Jan. So I started it mid-January.
That's great.
The groups, like you say, I've got over 500 members already. I'm getting people join from America, Israel, all sorts of places, which is amazing. So obviously when people are searching, it's coming up, which is great. And it's just nice. It's guidance, inspiration, support, allowing people to reach out and talk. It's everything really. It's just there. I try my best to. People inbox me quite a bit, and so I always get back to them and just give them a bit of help and support and advice. And sometimes that's all people need, don't they? Just that little bit, one person to go, I'm struggling today. What do I do? And then just get back to them, give them some advice, and it helps them. And that's what it's there for.
Just to be, I've got no qualifications whatsoever, but sometimes I'll reach out and I'll say, always here to have a non-judgmental ear and to just listen. Sometimes listening it really helps, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course it does. And just talking. I mean, what I have found is, a lot of men struggle because they don't want to look like they're not strong. They look like they're weak. And so, I love the fact that, men can reach out, and I have had a few inbox to me, and they say there's no one else they can talk to because they can't talk to the family because they want to look strong. They don't want to speak to the friends because some friends don't want to listen. Not all, but so it's just nice to have that lifeline, isn't it, for people? And that's what it's there for. And it's great.
Brilliant. So that's the group Love Life,
Yeah.
Love Life Again. And then if you want to take that a step further, you told us about the courses that you go on. Is there any of the content within that we can share a little bit of today?
Well, yeah. So what I try and do, I try and keep that a little bit separate, really, from the group because I'm not there to like try and sell my services. So I have my coaching's another website and another business page. But yeah, I've got a website for that where you can go in and see what services I offer. So at the moment I do six-week programs, and as I said, it's all about NLP. Do you know what NLP is?
No.
So
should I get a pen and paper?
Yes, take some notes, please. So it's neuro-linguistic programming. So it's all about the mind. It's all about your subconscious mind.
Okay.
So it's all about getting into your subconscious mind, like where you store all your memories, your feelings, your behaviour, all that's there. So it's all about getting into that and reprogramming it.
Okay.
And I've obviously trained in that, and that's how I help people try and release massive emotions that they're holding on to. So that's a part of it. And then I do hypnosis as well.
Okay.
Amazing. So hypnosis, and I'm really up on hypnosis and meditation. Really helps you relax your mind, especially, grief can cause people to get anxiety. So if you can relax your mind through meditating, yoga, hypnosis, it's very powerful. It really, really helps you reduce anxiety.
Right. Okay. That's definitely things that I think people look into. And the amazing thing is there's so much information out there now because of the internet, and yet some people sometimes don't know where to look. So just having that doorway into
it's why it's a platform for people, and I always, like I say, I'll always put in my support group, I'll always put guidance and tips on everything, things like getting people to meditate and yoga and exercise, and things that people can change themselves. We've got, if you want to make change, this is what you need to be doing, and this is going to help you on your road to recovery, making these lifestyle changes. Because what you find a lot of people do, Andy, and I've done it, when they're grieving and they're in that and they're hurting, they have a coping mechanism, which is generally drinking, going out, doing things that you shouldn't really be doing too much. It could be anything, eating anything, but they're doing stuff that's they're helping them cope. And so what I try and do with I call it the sadness recovery framework, is try and get people to change their diet, to eat healthy, to exercise regular, to meditate, stuff like this, which is so powerful and really helps you on your road to recovery. If you're thinking all the time and obviously eating rubbish and everything else, you're not going to feel good anyway, are you? So how are you supposed to heal?
Right.
So these are the biggest things that I get people to do quite quickly when I'm doing my coaching.
Okay, so you mentioned about the sadness. Did you say it's
called the sadness recovery framework?
It's an acronym for something, isn't it? Is that so? Do you want
It is.
to delve a little deeper into that?
Yeah, I can do. So basically, the sadness. So the S is for safety. So what we say is, for you to recover, you need to be in a good environment. So you first of all, you need to remove any toxic relationships or anything from your life.
And
Because if you're around negative
when you say toxic relationships, you're not just talking about your partner. You're talking about, because there are a lot of
friendships,
there are
anything that's
there are a lot
toxic
of toxic
around
people.
you.
There are a lot of toxic
Yeah.
people that we have in our lives. Negative people who you don't realize that down the years you just become accustomed to their way, but they're really bad for you. There's a lot of people in our lives.
And you can't, it's impossible for you to recover if you're around that.
Hmm.
So the first thing you need to do is remove people and any relationship from your life, and don't feel any way about that, because if that person's not helping you, why do you want them in your life?
Well, a
So
friendship's meant to
that's
be a two-way thing, isn't it? Really.
yeah, yeah. There's something else. So A is to activate the vagus nerve. Now I'm going to put all this in my group, but the vagus nerve.
VEDAS.
VAGUS,
Oh, the
VAGUS.
vagus nerve. Okay.
Yeah, it runs from your neck down to your body, all down your body. It connects to your nervous system. But this is what it really helps reduce anxiety and depression. There's an exercise you can do every day to activate it. I'll put it in my group again. It's
Okay.
only a 5-minute exercise every day, but it's scientifically proven to reduce anxiety
Okay.
and depression. D is for diet. So we need to do that. N is for nature and exercise. So when I say nature, you need to go get out, walk on the beach. If we were lucky enough to live in Spain. I'm always in Sutton Park, Andy, like I live in there. Like Sutton Park is that's where I go and just get out for an hour a day and just walk around Sutton Park. I think your emotional healing. So that is if you know you're counselling or you're coaching. S is for self-compassion. Love yourself, give yourself time out, self-care. Go and have that half an hour in the bath and put some candles on. Meditate, all that bit of time out to yourself, whether it's 10, 20 minutes, half an hour a day.
And that's an
And then the
investment.
last,
That's an investment
it
in
is,
yourself, isn't
it
it?
is. Yeah, it absolutely is. So meditating reduces when you over when things have happened to you and you get anxious, you tend to overthink, don't you? A lot of people overthink and over worry. So this part of the brain here, the front part of the brain, gets hyperactive. So if you can relax that part of the brain, then it's like medication.
Right.
If you meditate, meditation is medication. That's what I say. So relax that part of the brain, then you will reduce your anxiety, and that is scientifically clinically proved. So
Brilliant.
I don't think people realise how powerful it is.
And because some people would see it as a little bit of like hippie mumbo jumbo, wouldn't they? Really.
Yeah, they do, and I think some people are really susceptible to it, and some people are just like, I can't switch off, I can't do it, and you can, and some people are like that, but I think once you really try and get yourself into it, you can. And whether I tend to do it at night, so it just relaxes me. 10, 15 minutes, that's all you need to do. Guided meditation, put it on your phone, put it in your ears, and that's it. So that's all you need, and it is a huge investment.
Okay, and the last one, sorry, I cut you off. The last S.
The last S is social connections.
Oh,
so we're talking Facebook, we're talking groups, community groups. You go out, whatever. Just make sure you're socially connected to people, because that is part of your recovery. Don't socially withdraw, because you're never going to recover. You need to be around people, but good people, but people who are helping you, not people who are bringing you back, bringing you down.
Okay, I think that's a really important thing. Down the years, I've realised a few toxic people in my life, and you just have to distance yourself from them, whether it is to do with grief or just generally. And once you have
it's hard to
strength
do it though, isn't it? It is hard, because you think, you feel bad then. You think, am I doing the right thing? But once you do it, you realise you've done the right thing. So not long after.
Indeed.
So
is grief, when you say the word grief, just sitting here thinking now, is that is it only really associated with the death of someone, or can you grieve for a relationship breakup? Can you grieve?
Absolutely. Grief's in so many forms. It's loss, like you say, divorce, relationships, friendships,
Hmm.
obviously animals, you lose animals, pets. A business, if you lost your business, I lost my business when I split up with my ex-husband, and I built it up for 14 years, and I lost that. Anything like that, if you're grieving for something, it's a grief. It
Hmm.
doesn't have to be a loss.
Right. Okay. And it's a real obvious cliche. And again, as I started to say at the very beginning, until you go through the process yourself, you don't understand,
Mm.
or it's difficult for you to truly understand that time really can be a healer. Ian, my friend, was just commenting earlier. He lost his brother tragically a few years ago, and I flew over to go to the funeral. And I remember saying to him at the time, nothing I say is going to make anything feel any better now, but please believe me that it is going to get better somewhere down the line. It might take 2 years, it might take 3 or 4 years, but it will get better. Just you need to believe that deep down inside, don't you?
I
And
also believe, Andy, as well, I think you need to grieve. You need to let your body grieve. So for me, like if I have a down day where I feel a bit low, a bit tearful, I let that come out, and I think, well, I need to grieve. That's part of the process. Do you know what I mean? Holding it in is not helpful.
mhm.
Get grieve, cry, let it out, get through that day, and then move on. And I promise you, as that time goes, you will do that less and less.
Mhm.
Like literally, I was crying every day at one point. Now I'll shed a tear, but my sadness is different now. It's like I've got happy sadness, if that makes any sense.
No,
It's
no,
like
no sense whatsoever.
you know what I mean. If I think of my mum and I feel a bit upset, but I feel a lot of happy memories come to me instead of
Yeah.
thinking about how ill she was, how when she died, and all that. I think about happiness with her, and I think it takes time to get there as well.
Definitely, and there's no right or wrong.
There's no right or
There's no
wrong. There's
set
no right
there's
or
no
wrong.
set time. Is that
No,
this
but
can
it's really
happen?
important people think it's okay not to be okay.
Hmm.
You're not always going to be okay. You have to accept that you're going to have bad days, and you just need to get through them.
And that's why it's so
So,
important to have a good network of people around you
yeah,
who are truly there to support you.
absolutely, yeah,
You know.
yeah, 100.
So is there any other topics or any other parts of what you've learned that you can share your knowledge with here today about grief, and any triggers or other things that people need to look out for?
Well, I just think, as I just said, I think people need to know that grief is a roller coaster. There is actually, I mean, I've got in my group, there is 5 stages to grief. So you will go, and everybody goes through these stages. I don't know, it doesn't matter. It could take 1 month to the next to get through to the next. Some people take longer on one stage or the other, but people go through these stages. So generally, first stage is shock, next
Okay,
stage you're in denial.
sorry. Let me just stop you there because
Yeah,
you were stuttering just a little bit with the internet.
sorry.
Start again.
Start again. Okay, so did you get to the 5 stages of grief? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So we all go through the stages. Everyone will go through them, but they'll go through them at different times and different. There's no like length for each stage. So the first stage is shock. Now you can be in shock for 2 or 3 years. Denial's the next stage. Then you get anger and guilt. The next stage is despair, depression. Some people get very depressed. Some people are not so much, and then the last stage is acceptance. So it's taken me probably 4 years to get to acceptance.
Uh huh.
I was probably in depression for a good couple. So I think you just need to be aware through grief that you will go through these stages. It is absolutely set in stone. You will feel them feelings throughout the roller coaster of this grief.
The cycle. That's the
So
that's the one thing that I learned fairly early on, and it's I felt it quite comforting knowing that I had to go through that. There was no escaping it. And once I
Yeah.
understood that, and you don't necessarily go through, I'm sorry if you said this, you don't necessarily go through them all in that exact same order, do you?
Yeah. No,
Or do you?
absolutely
Sorry,
not.
I'm asking you, do you?
No,
Because
not
you can
necessarily.
bounce backwards and
Yeah,
forwards, can't you?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. But you will go through them stages. Obviously, the last stage is always acceptance,
Hmm.
but you will, and you might even bounce through stages, but you will eventually get to that point where you accept. And that's when you start living your life again. And
Hmm.
as we both have both said, that can take a long time. It can, some people do it quicker, some people do it longer.
Hmm.
So, but I would really like to think that everybody gets to that point, because, and I'm sure none of our loved ones who we've lost would want us to be in despair and depression for years. You
Hmm.
know, they want us to live our life and love life and enjoy ourselves, and be happy and learn to live a life again. You never, we're not the same, are we, Andy? We'll never be the same again, because you've got a different life now,
Hmm.
but I've got this new life now, and this is it, and I've accepted it now, and I'm enjoying it again. So we can get there. We can get there.
That's it. You have to get the strength from that, and as I preach on a regular basis,
Mm.
I'm a totally different person because of the grief I've experienced, and it's helped make me a stronger person. It's helped give me a deeper appreciation of life every day, because of the two, losing a father suddenly, that kind of hit me. I had a lot of emotions attached with that, but then losing my brother again so suddenly, that totally floored me, and it took me a while to come out of that, even though it probably wasn't very apparent. But now I do, for obviously I miss him, but I don't. I'm not in such a bad place as I was, and there are days when I don't think about him anymore. And again, coming back to my friend Ian, and I apologise, because I know there's a lot of everybody watching this is going to have suffered with the loss, and I can't mention everybody, but I said to him, there will be a day where you realise, you know what, I didn't, the big man wasn't on my mind yesterday. It's
Mm.
crazy, and then that gives you a little bit of
And then
energy and a
it's
little
that you
bit more
don't feel
hope.
guilty about that. That's you getting back to you.
Hmm.
That's you getting back to you, and you're allowed to do that.
Hmm.
And so that's amazing.
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. It's crazy. Everyone's commenting here, and again, thank you guys. I don't want to be messing around because I'll break it all. But we're getting a lot of positive comments. Angel, somebody who listens to a lot of the things that I say and do. She sadly lost her mother a few years ago, around Christmas. So that's always going to be, Christmas is always going to be a difficult time for her. We've just gone past Mother's Day. I know people will have recently lost their mum. Pugwash, only a few weeks ago lost his mum, and it's the first Mother's Day without her. So all of these triggers are going to come along. What would you say to people who are dreading these big moments in the year, anniversaries, birthdays, holidays? How do you get people to prepare for that?
I think, I don't think you can prepare for it. I think you just have to um, accept that you're going to feel down. You're going to feel sad. You're going to miss them on that day. I mean, last week I had my dad's first anniversary and Mother's Day in 1 week. And I'll be honest, I felt flat for a whole week. I was just like, I was tearful, I was flat. And I just, I went to the cemetery. I've done all pots for my mum. I've done it all lovely. I had her favourite drink and just done things to remember her, things she would like. And you just have to, unfortunately, you just have to accept that you are going to feel down, and you're going to be tearful, and you just have to get through it and pick yourself back up again. And
Hmm.
I honestly don't think them days, Andy, get any easier each year. They haven't for me. My other days have, they're my normal just getting about days, but anniversaries and Mother's Day and birthdays and stuff like that, they're still pretty painful. And I think we just have to get through them as best we can. I mean, you know what it's like. Get your family around you. We all celebrate their lives together. That's been really hard this year, last year, because I haven't seen my family twice.
Right.
So I think that helps, doesn't it, to be around your family as well, and making sure you're all supporting one another, and yeah, just remember them and get through it as best you can. But I think that's all you can do.
Brilliant, wise words. More comments that we're getting. Let me just see if I can read through this. So Julie Rogers says in 2016 her dad had open heart surgery, her son had bowel surgery, and the mum got told she had cancer. By Christmas 2016, all had come out the other end. Wow. We celebrated Christmas as a family more positive for the next year, 2017, to be told in January that dad had lung cancer, went into hospital in April, had the 3 weeks of our lives and lost him. With the grief came anxiety, depression, anger, and slowly coming to terms with it. But there are still days and weeks that I feel lost without him being here. It's crazy. I mean, there's the stories that everyone's going to have.
This is the problem, Andy. You know that feeling of lost. I felt that, just lost. Like my mum and dad was there, my husband was there. Where's it all gone? I've lost everything, and that's a scary place to be. It is a scary place to be, feeling lost and feeling empty. That emptiness of that loss. Just to say that, you know, with help and recovery, she will fill that she will fill that gap again. It just takes time. It's just healing, isn't it? It's just healing and looking after yourself and taking time out for you to give yourself that time to heal.
Great, wise words. It's funny. It's funny, isn't the word I should be using? But Michelle made a comment saying, you know, there's some days that she feels that if she started to cry, she just wouldn't be able to stop, and it's mental because it's 15, 16 years ago since her parents passed away, you know, and more, you know, there were a few years between her parents. What am I talking about? 15, 16 years. I'm talking nonsense. It's 20 odd years.
Yeah.
We've been living
20 odd years.
We've been in
but
Spain
she's still,
for
because, but then if she feels like that, then she needs to have that day of crying. I don't think anything, you know, to do that, it's not a bad thing to do. It actually helps you release a lot of emotions, and then you tend to move on then and think, right, and then you feel a bit the way I can explain it is, you let them emotions out. I always feel a bit stronger. So every time I've done that, I felt stronger each time. Do you know what I mean?
It's like a purge.
Yeah, it's like get it out, have a cry, you get that day out. Right, I feel stronger now. And then each time I've just built up that strength.
I'll do that.
That's how it's been for me anyway.
Sometimes, I mean, I'm glad we can have this conversation, and I don't get upset about it. Most people watching this know that I'm triggered very easily, and I can get a little bit tearful from time to time. But I'm glad we can have this conversation, you know, seriously without that.
And that's the same for me, though. I would normally be crying, but I've got to that point now where I can control that.
I was sat watching I've got to be careful I don't set myself off. I was watching something really innocent, the Biggie Small documentary the other day on Netflix.
Oh yeah, that was really good, wasn't it? I watched that.
And then at the end, I can't remember who it is now because I'm talking it, but someone said something about, you know, I miss my boy or whatever, and for that split second, it just took me away to Alma, and I went, and Michelle looked at me and she said, "What's wrong?" And I was just in tears and I couldn't breathe. And I was just like,
that's all it takes. It's them moments, but them are moments to get it out. So when them come, just embrace them because you're releasing. Do you know what I mean? So sometimes I know, you know, that's happened to me loads of times. And when it happens now, and it still does, I just let it out and then I just go and then I just move on.
Yeah. Great, fantastic. Yeah. We got Pugwash, Neil McLean, commenting. I mentioned about you know, his mum, and I'm just reading that he said that you've been able to help him recently as well, giving him some great advice, and a few people that I would never have thought would have come to you and advice. They've actually said to me even before I decided to bring you on this afternoon. They'd said what a great help you are. So I mean, it's absolutely fantastic that what you're doing. So just to confirm again, if anyone has just recently joined us, we've been talking now for over 45 minutes about grief,
Mm.
noticing the signs of grief, or that it encompasses. Lucy's group is tagged in the description of this video, and Lucy, or that group is absolutely free of charge. There's no cost whatsoever. Lucy does also offer her services would you say coaching and counselling, or is that, are they two different?
Coaching, yeah, no, it's coaching.
Okay, so what is the website if people want to take a look at that?
It's Love Life Coaching and Event. Yeah,
Lovelifecoaching.com.
so no, so it's Love Life Coaching hyphen events dot co
Wow.
dot uk.
You should have spoke to someone who knows about websites to give you a smaller website name. I do actually give Lucy a lot.
I'm doing events as well, so I'm still going to be doing events. So I've tagged that on.
I do give Lucy a little bit of grief, joking about that, because I've had no part in any of her websites.
Okay.
No, I'm only joking, but it's all good fun. Just making a very light-hearted break from the in-depth conversation, because I did say earlier on, we've known each other for 25, 26, 27 years. Anybody that listens to my radio show hears me talking about our legendary Sundays at Marco Polo's. That's where we would have met you, and it's mad to
Yeah,
think that here we are now.
I
I
know.
mean, I'm just about to turn 51 soon. Are you 40?
I'm
You even 45?
44
There
in
you go.
next week.
Okay, so I knew there was a few
Yeah.
years between us. So roll the years back when we were 20. So you would have been this young,
I was young. I was like 18 when I was going Marco's.
ridiculous. And then we
17
always we
probably.
always used to come back to your house. You'd have like
Yes, we
20
did.
people, 25 people in your house
Probably more.
of an
DJs
afternoon.
in the front room, decks up. Oh, on a Sunday afternoon. My neighbours hated me.
Mental. Quite literally mental. I'm
Mental.
sure everybody can picture what was going on 1995, 1996 in Lucy's house with Lucy
Jesus
and
Christ.
Vicky. You know what, this mad picture I have, you and Vicky stood on these chairs in the kitchen, like doing some crazy
Doing some
cheerleading.
dance.
Cheerleading.
All
Oh,
right.
okay, right. So
I was 17.
yeah. So let's get back to it. A lot of talk inside
Yeah.
the chat still, and the comments. So people can, get in touch with you. And John Rogers is saying it's crazy how the moments just sneak up on you. He misses his dad, but has days where he just can't believe he's gone. Yeah. I hear people say that all the time. They say, I go to pick up the phone, and then I will actually dial the phone because there's something. Now, I've never experienced that myself, because I didn't, with me living so far away, and towards the latter years of my dad being around, we didn't have that really close relationship. So I've never had to experience that myself. But I hear so many people say that the triggers are
Oh,
there,
I
that they're
do because
everywhere.
I see my mum every day. I'd seen her every single day. So because I cared for her and my dad, especially towards the end. So I was with them every day. So I probably spoke to her 10 times a day. She'd continually ring me. So yeah, that's a huge gap gone.
Hmm.
When you've had that constant, relationship and connection and love for one another, and then yeah, and massive void.
Yeah, my brothers
So I
have
get that.
my brothers have gone through that. I know, with losing both Alma and my dad. They were a lot closer than I was. Kind of, is the truth be told. But I'm just reading another comment. Tanya says, if we don't allow ourselves to break, we can't get fixed. That's what I think. Let it all out. Brilliant comment.
Really good. Yeah.
So
Tanya knows.
we
I know
can
Tanya's too.
we can talk about this on and on and on. But do you think we've covered a lot of the important things? Is there any and
I
we're
do,
under
yeah,
no
I think
time
so.
constraints? Are there any other important parts of
Just
this?
to say, get on the support group, because it's there to help, it's there to guide you, it's there to give inspiration, and it's there to talk. Just
Hmm.
get in it, and don't reach out, tell us your story, ask for help if that's what it's there for. So I really do urge people to get on it and join it.
Brilliant. So you say about telling your story. Um, Tell us your story after you got to grips with this, and even though you're still on your journey,
Mm.
you were telling me about a lot of other things that you continue to do to inspire and help others. With you mentioned about children and your kids going through a lot of traumatic experiences. Tell us about
Mm.
that angle that you're developing now.
Oh yeah, so funny enough, actually, I actually started this project a couple of years before, so it was like 2013. But I saw it was on and off. But yeah, basically, I've developed a children's cartoon book, website, YouTube channel for children. It's a mental health to help with their mental health. So we basically try and get. It's called Faith in the Fear Stone. I started it in 2013, and after actually, it's really when I lost my parents and everything I went through, everything's been channeled into it. So everything I've witnessed and experienced since, I've just channeled it into the cartoon. So everything my kids have been through. So yeah, so it's a Poor Faith in the Fear Stone, and it's about helping children recognise mental health, helping them fight their fears, helping them build confidence, and just assuring them that it's okay to not be perfect, and life isn't perfect, and just get them to talk, not be afraid to talk.
Hmm.
So I've got a book launching the end of April, and then I've also developed some wellbeing workshops to take into the schools. So it's all part of really. It's great really because I've incorporated my coaching experience now and knowledge into it as well. So
Brilliant.
I'm really passionate about getting into children from the age of 7. It's targeted 7 to 11. That's their most formative age, when they actually develop their emotions and feelings and take that into their adulthood. So I'm getting into key stage 2, where I can get in and try and make them understand and recognise it, and not be scared to know that you're not going to be good at everything. To help them fight any fears they have, and just get them to talk, not be afraid to say, I'm scared of that, or I don't like doing that, or this is happening to me, or so just getting into the schools now and doing that. So that's one of my other projects.
That's amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
just sitting listening to your story, I'm reminded of somebody like Adele who made this. Some of her best works came about from the trauma that she'd
Yeah.
endured or witnessed, and wrote songs about it, and it
Mm.
enabled her to move forward. So, you've made such positive moves off of the trauma and the tragedy that you've experienced in your life. It's brilliant, very very commendable. Can't
Thank
I can't
you
give you
know
enough
what
praise.
Thank you, Andy. Do you know what I've got to say? It's been very, up and down. Some days I thought I can't do this anymore. But you know what? Self-belief, just a lot of self-belief. I can do. I want to do this, and doing it is for me helping is healing. So me helping other people now, it heals me as well. Do you know what I mean? So it just is the only way forward for me. I couldn't do anything else.
I
So
totally relate to that. I totally relate to
yeah.
that. I was saying earlier that, giving to people, inspiring people, it's not a totally
Mm.
selfless act, because we gain so much from it ourselves, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it is. And people say to me, do you not think it's going to be a bit draining, like dealing with people who are grieving and who are real? And I'm like, well, no, because I'm going to help them come out of that and have rewarding stuff. Like
Hmm.
that's for me. You see, that I think one thing, because I can relate to it so much, people seem to talk to me. So I want to listen, I want to understand and get them out. So I don't find it draining at all. I find it completely uplifting. So yeah, it's all good. It's all exciting times, and I've got myself here now. It's took a bit of time to rebuild my life, but I'm back.
Brilliant. Well, while you're here, I'm just looking at this because I remember asking at the top of the show, what is the stronger emotion associated with your
Yeah.
grief? Let me see if I am able to
Go on.
have a look at the poll. Okay, so yeah, a few people replied. We got 40% of people were saying that regret was the stronger emotion associated with their grief, and 60% said sadness.
Wow.
So there you go. I can.
Yeah, I mean, regret can make you sad, can't it? That's the sort of. But for me, mine was sadness, complete, just pure sadness for me. So
Indeed. Okay. Well, I think we haven't covered everything. We've only roughly scratched the surface, but it gave me the opportunity to hear more about your story. And I know a lot of people were really interested in this. And again, I'm sure we're going to get a hell of a lot more people watching the recording back. So just to confirm again, the link to Lucy's group is in the description of this, Love Life Again.
mhm.
Let me just read this. Love Life Again Grief Support Group, the way that it's written out, where you just click it and it'll take you through there. That's fantastic. Neil Abbott, thank you very much for liking the stream, and thank you to everybody. Luce, I'll say thank you very much. It's
Thank you.
been
It was great,
amazing. I'm
really great. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm just going to change this to a different window. I'll bid you farewell. I'll message you in a little while when we come off.
Thanks, Andy.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone.
Well done.
Thanks.
Well done.
Bye. Bye.
Right, okay. Wonderful. Let me change this screen now over to here. Yeah, there we go. Now, Andy Tomo's like the stream. You can see here on the left-hand side of this new window, the page activity. Everyone that's been liking the page, everyone that's been following the page, and everyone that's been liking the video itself. I just read, these are the last 10 people. So thank you to Sean, Luby, John, Colin, to Trish, Jody, Pugs, Adele, Neil Abbott, Andy Tomlinson, and to Suf. Thank you all so much. This bit at the bottom, did you enjoy that? That's for other weeks. Don't worry about that. That's just a little script I've got there for myself. I don't think it's relevant for today. I just want to say thank you, guys. You're all more than aware of what I'm doing. I'm just trying to reach out. I'm just playing with the toys I've got in the studio, but at the same time, I'm trying my best to impart a little bit of knowledge that I've gathered down the years myself, and also learning myself as well, because you know, never be too big to learn. I'm just seeing here in front of me. I'm glad I added it because I would have forgotten. Click this button. As you can see, on Monday afternoon, I'm going to be talking to Mr. Moose T. Moose T needs no introduction, and I'm going to be picking his brain about the trials and tribulations of being a worldwide superstar, and if he's got any little bits of advice that he can give to budding producers, DJs, so on and so forth. I've been on air coming up to an hour now, so I'm just going to go back to the comments very quickly, see who's here. Andy says thank you, respect my man. Angel, thank you. Ian, great to have you with us till the very end, my friend. Thank you very much. There's a lot of people there who have I know you've all suffered so much grief, and I'm really glad that you're getting the support that you deserve. So thank you all very much for that. I will leave you now to go about your Saturday afternoon. Yeah, Moose Tea on Monday, and then next Saturday I've got another conversation, but I'll be pushing that in the week. Thank you. Tomo's telling me, don't forget to remind people about the buzzing final. Yeah, that's the DJ competition that I'm doing. That's for next weekend. Just take a look on my wall. I'll share that a little later on. I don't want to cloud the reason why we're here this afternoon by talking about that. Thank you again, guys, and remember to, if you're watching the recording, to share the video and to follow the page as well, to know every time that we go live, because it really is difficult trying to get out there and getting people to see what we're doing. All right, I'm going to click onto this button here and say farewell. Thank you very much, guys. You know I love you.